Good day everyone. Today I will make my simple calculator in our subject object-oriented programming, applying attributes, methods, classes, objects, constructors, access modifiers, properties, and inheritance. So let's open the app, my C# shell, my offline compiler. So we have now the folder, our project name calculator, public class calculator. The upper part using system.io, system.link, system.collections.generic are the libraries from C#. So our namespace was C# underscore shell. Our public class or the main class of the program was the class name was calculator. So let's start. To start making a calculator, a simple calculator, I'll be using only 4 operations in this program. To start a program, we have to create first our main method, which is public static void main. So inside the main method we have to display our 4 operations to be chosen. For example, we have to choose 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, and the rest is like let's assume that it will be an exit system. The user will choose if he or she will choose to exit or continue the program. So let's start. Console.writeLine. WriteLine means the statement has an end line, or it will be entered into another statement. While the write, console.write, it doesn't have an end line. It will not enter or doesn't have an end line like in C++. So let's continue. Choose 1 operation. So let's copy for us to be fast. So we have 6 console.writeLine. The first one was choose 1 operation, so let's change this to addition. The user will choose 1 to add the 2 numbers, addition. Now the second one, next one, the user will choose 2 to subtract, just as for subtraction. While number 3, the user will choose to multiply, multiplication. Number 4, to divide, division. And then number 5, the user will choose to exit. So the next thing to do is, in this case, I will use switch case. There are some cases inside the switch. So let us make this blank first, because later on we have to create some classes and object. We have the case 1. If the user chooses the addition, then have a break, and then number case 2. If the user chooses to subtract, and then case 3, the user chooses to multiply. Case 4, if the user chooses to divide. Then the last one was default. I have a break first. The last one was default. For example, if anything, or if he chooses number 5 or any character in the keyboard, it will turn to default. Default, we have console.writeLine, system exit. After that, we have to create a class for given. The class must contain given choices, attributes. So I will make a class. I will make class given. So inside the class given, we have the attributes or fields. The attributes was a variable in a class or a fields. Inside the class given, we have attribute public string count type public int choice public double num1 for the first number that we're going to compute, then second one is double num2 double if there is a possible more decimals. It is higher than float because float only contains small decimals, while the double there are more. So we have also a method named public given. This method was a constructor. Its parameter was string type name string type. So let us initialize count type equals type name. So let's have first a comment constructor, or let's say a parameterized constructor. A parameterized constructor was it is a special method that is used to initialize objects. So in this parameterized constructor, the method has a parameter, as you noticed. We will make also a method for a choice. So let's have public choice, public int choice. Inside this method, there is console.writeLine enter your choice. Then choice must be equal to convert that to int 32. Convert that to int 32 means it is used to convert to integer. Console that readline. If in C++ we have a cin or the C input, in CSharp we have console that readline. A readline method to input. So let us put a comment there. Converting to integer. So we have to return choice. Then we will make also a method for a double first, or for entering a first number. This method, inside this method was console that writeLine enter first number, and then we will use num1, the attributes num1 equals to convert that to int 32, or I'm 16 2 and 16 for double, by the 2 and 32 is for integer. We have to use the method console that readline, then return num1. So for fast coding, you have to copy the code and paste it. So let's change this to second. Console.writeLine enter the second number. convert num2, then return num2. So let's create another class for operations, for the for operations. Class operations. Operate. So let's say operate. Class operate. Inside the class operate, we have some attributes or fields. Private, double sum. Private, double diff for difference. Private, double prod for product. Private, double quote for quotient. Okay. These are access modifiers. Private. Private is an access modifier. While public, it is also an access modifier. So I'm using only two access modifier, private and public. Then for that, we are going to use properties to make it public. So let's make a method. Public operate. No. Public double sum. So the public double sum or the new variable sum, capital SUM, will be the new variable for private double sum. So this is not a method, but it is a properties to make the private double sum into public double sum. So we will be using get and set methods. Get return sum, then set sum equals value. Then another public. So let's copy for fast coding. Copy. Copy paste 1 2 3 4. So let's replace this sum as def and the other two def. Then double prod the prod. So quote small q and big Q. So we have now the properties. It's called properties and so on and so forth. This is a properties by using a get and set method. So let us go to the main function. Now let's go to the main function or to the main class or main method, wherein we are going to use the function methods below to execute the program. So let us make our object given x. Our object here is x new given. Then our parameter my simple calculator. This statement inside here was came from the special method, which is the parameter is constructor. So the type name, calc type, public string calc type. Then the parameter inside is a string type name, which is equivalent to calc type. And then here we have the equivalent value for the type name or the calc type. It will display later on in our console. So let's make a comment. X as an object to class given. Then the class given being accessible by that using the object X. And then now we have to output. We have to display the statement my simple calculator by console.writeLine x, that where x is the object from the class given, x calc type. The calc type is the attributes of class given, which is being accessed by the object x. Calc type. Then after that, we have also our class operate. Our object for class operate was z equals new operate. Then this also we have to include it with two parentheses. So we write a comment z is as an object to a class operate. Then switch case. What will be in our inside our switch case will be x dot choice. The choice method being accessed by the object x in the class given. So inside the choice method was enter your choice. Then choice convert in return choice. If this statement, so we have to write a comment choice x dot choice is a method from class given. Inside the case 1 we have enter two numbers to add. So we will now use the first method or the first method from the given class, which is being accessed by the object x, and the second method to enter a second number. This is the method for the first number, method for entering the second number. So let's put a comment method to enter first number or to enter num1 method to enter num2. Then the next line we have convert that to int 16 or double z that sum is from the class operate, which is being accessed. Sum is being modified by a properties given set method. Then it is accessible by making it public, accessed by an object z. Then convert that to int 16. So the whole result or the sum that z that sum will be converted into double if there's a decimal. So z that sum equals x dot num1 plus x dot num2. Then colon console dot write line the sum of the two numbers is, so we will be using plus to add a statement that sum. It should be a big letter S. Okay, now so this first case or case number 1 will be the same until case number 4. So let's copy the code, copy. Let's take it organized. So let us change all that matters. So enter two numbers to add, convert it into sum. So this sum, let's change to this. Let's change this to def num1 num2. Console dot write line. The sum, no, it's the difference. Difference of the two numbers is def, and this product or prod. And this is into code. So let's try to run this program. Default. So there's an error. Default break. Let's take an addition. Two numbers. Two. Two. Oh, correct. So this is now the program. I think it is very well made, very well organized. Let's explore some what ifs. So second there and second num2. For instance, if the user enter number 0, it will be undefined when it comes to division. So num1 divide num2, which is num2 equal to 0, the result will be undefined. So num1 divide num2. Num1 must be greater than to 0 or less than to 0. And num2 equal to 0, then the answer will be undefined. So let's make a condition. While num2 is equal to 0. No. Num2 is equal to 0. Console invalid. Let's say right line so we have to copy this because this while loop is just instance if ever num2 is equal to 0. So let's paste it. As you can see, I have added an condition while num2 equals to 0. So it will be the result will be undefined. Try another one. Then the user must input another number that is not equal to 0. So if this while loop is just only an instance. So we have to copy this. So all is well. I think I have forgotten an inheritance. So let's make another class display. This class will be the parent. Let's say this is the parent class to be inherited. So inside the parent class there's a method public void show. So inside this method there is console that right line. Wow, let's say wow, the calculator is correct. Correct. So let's inherit the display class. To inherit the class we are using a colon display. So let's come to the switch statement. So after the outputting the difference of two numbers, sum of two numbers, the sum, there's an error in the product, the quotient. After this statement, there will be the show method. Show. Then it must be z.show because show it is from the display. It is came from the display class that is being inherited by the operate, which is the operate has the c as object. Operate z as object, so it is being accessed by c. Show. And then another one c.show. And then click history name as well. And c.show. And so on. Okay, let's run the program. Enter choice 4. Let's say 4. The numbers to add. Oh, there's an error. There is an error. There's numbers. There's two numbers to add. To subtract. This must be to subtract. To multiply. To divide. Okay, let's try. 4, 24, 23. Question of 2 numbers is, oh, the calculator is correct. 57. Oh, there's an error. There's another error. Product. So it must be multiplication. Then it must be minus. Then divide. I forgot the looping. So we will just the while loop. While x.choice. So x.choice is not equal to 5. The looping will be continue, or this statement from here down to the switch statement, it will continue until the user chooses number 5. So let's put a place to have a pair. Let's run the program. Expected velocity type in bool. X.choice is equals, it's not equal to 5. X.choice. My simple calculator. There must be an error.
Okay. Now the error is the semicolon. Then let's run the program. Other choice to subtract 34 and 34. Then the answer must be 0. So the calculator is correct. Then 1, 23, 24. Then the answer is correct. 3, 24 times 23. So the answer is 1004. 34, 23. The answer is decimal. Okay, exit. That's all. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for viewing. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos.